I don't really have the time or the energy or a strong inclination to want to address this, but I'm going to briefly, and then I hope that's the end of it. Probably won't be though, because people that make sock accounts, little trolling accounts with names like Pat Me Groin and Low Blow and things like that, these are content creators that you follow, that you might hold to some esteem and regard, but they're petty, hateful and cruel. Let me clear something up with regards to Flora fires and the quotation that I made in a video and the reason why. Are you aware that in Indiana, who had a decade of terror, this reign of the KKK from about after the World War One to around 1925. So in recent enough history, whereby men in their 70s, 80s, 50s, their grandfathers, great-grandfathers were alive and kicking and well and able to influence their family through the years. Are you aware that in Indiana, in 2016, the year that 4 precious girls died in a fire, there was an attempt to revive the KKK, and Carroll County was a hotbed for this type of activity in its history. It's a dark, nasty history. And so when you've got a corrupt family, the Randall family, with their fingers in all the pies in Indiana to do with, fighting and investigating fires, 4 girls die who are black. They die. Adam Randall, the fire chief at the time, decides to make an announcement off his own bat, without the agreement of any other officials in Indiana, that the fire is not considered suspicious and that it was probably wiring behind the fridge that started it before testing is in. He makes this announcement. So not only has he not managed to get his fire department from a block and a half away in time to save 4 little girls, he then announces that it's nothing suspicious, even though accelerant was found in testing and it's been ruled arson. And his father at the time, who is corrupt, he's a thief. His wife is a thief, so his mother Jean is a thief. She's a convicted thief and forger. His father's the fire inspector for Homeland Security of Indiana at the time. Doesn't it just go together? Copious calls were made to 911. These calls haven't been released because Carroll County outsources its emergency system. So we don't know who was saying what. We don't know how this call didn't get through to the fire department, volunteer fire department of Flora, in time just to get a truck there from a block and a half away. We're literally seconds away. So we don't know, was the call just not dispatched through? Or when it was dispatched through, we don't know the response time. Why? And Josh Dissinger, hero fireman, he's there at the firehouse a block and a half away. Gee, he could even see it from the firehouse probably. He could probably smell it from the firehouse, and yet Deputy Drew Yoder, from 10 miles away, 9.7 miles away, he arrives first, a police officer. And then eventually, after Josh gets there in time to save Yoder, eventually, trucks from Flora and Delphi arrive. It may not be anything to do with racism, but when you've got a YouTuber, no matter what you think of him, when you've got a rather popular YouTuber, Anthony Greeno, making the allegation that Dennis Randall made a racial slur and that he has it recorded, when he makes that allegation. So in 2016, there is an attempt to revive the KKK in this area. It gets quashed. Later that year in November, a home where a woman, Galen Rose, lives with her 4 daughters. They are an African-American family. An arson event happens in their home. Accelerant in the upstairs home. Downstairs is vacant. Wow. Do you think the landlord might have told the people downstairs to move out? Wow, I wonder how that happened. Is that just a coinky-dink? It could be a coinky-dink. But you've got the Randalls, well placed, haven't you? Slow response, racial slurs. And then when Anthony Greeno tells Robert Ives what he's going to do, Greeno was holding a press conference. He was interviewing Robert Ives before the press conference, where he was going to talk about corruption, specifically the racial slur that Dennis Randall had made, etc. And he's arrested. Now we know, look, since I've been on YouTube, I think Greeno has been arrested 3 or 4 times. He's actually in prison now for things of his own doing. But he was held for 36 days. He couldn't make the press announcement, and then eventually announcements were made that I think, the fire was arson, etc. And then Greeno was released with the help of the NAACP. Okay? Greeno also does say that his phone was returned to him factory reset, and he didn't have his proof any longer of what Dennis Randall said. Dennis Randall, Adam Randall, and Robert Ives all subsequently resigned out of their offices in Indiana. Okay? It sickens me. I nearly can't be bothered just to say anything about allegations of me being a racist. It is so pathetic beyond belief. But this just shows you how people, when they are butthurt, will use whatever they can. It's a tool. This is trolling at its best. The psychopaths, they know I was quoting somebody, and yet they know that all they have to do is put some damage in there. And this is probably even Joe himself. Ask him, Joe, why did you leave South Africa? Why do people leave South Africa? Sometimes it's because, they're racist and they're frightened. You might have left for work. You talk about your military background. Like a lot of psychopaths, they talk about having these backgrounds. Hey, I don't know. That could all be true. Good for you. But you're unhinged. Okay? There's no point sending flying monkeys over here accusing me of something that I haven't done. It's in fact exactly the opposite. And if you're interested, as you say, truly in what's happening to Delphi, it should worry you that Superintendent Doug Carter has the spectre of these unsolved crimes against children hanging over his head. It's a huge responsibility. He has come out to say he has a POI in the case of the Flora fires. Do you think anyone's ever going to be arrested? Why is there only a $5,000 reward? You can analyse all you want what Carter might say about the Delphi murders. right? A lot of people think, okay, he knows something, he knows nothing. It's all theatrics, he's just emotional. You know, it's very confusing. But what's filling the void, what's filling the vacuum of the unknowing is people like As Above and As Below who are trolling my channel right now over something I didn't say, over something that I actually mean is exactly the opposite to what they're saying. That it's all right for them to say things like, look, they can see Abby's body down below the bridge with a hatchet in her head, her legs are open and there's blood and she's covered in mud. That's all right. So it's okay to disrespect and act so dishonorably and despicably about real little girls, to accuse Becky Patty of all sorts of heinous things. But I'm calling out racism in Flora and pondering, is this a case of racism? Was this just hate? Is this insurance scam? What is it? These 4 girls died. Why were the 4 girls up together in the house? Why did mum get out? Yeah, sure, we've got to ask that. That's nothing to do with race. Did Dennis Randall make this racial slur? Well, I don't know. But it stands to reason that he really might have. He doesn't care a jot for his citizens over what he could have gotten out of the county. And he raped and pillaged the county. He took as much funds as he could out of the county. People talk about corruption in Carroll County all the time. And the Randall family, who are all over the Flora fire case, are some of the biggest offenders. Even Adam's mother, she worked for a law firm. Okay, so a law firm who is there trying to offer services to protect its citizens, the citizens of Carroll County, and she was stealing their money. She was forging signatures. She was using their money to pay her bills to the tune of around $500,000, and she got a slap. I think she got some probational time or whatever it is. Okay, so people are just trying to abuse me. This is what's happening. They've got taken umbrage because I have stated my opinion, which someone said, hey, that's not a good look. Well, I don't like people abusing the memories of little girls for their own advantage and getting hysterical and blustery about it. And yeah, I called it out. That's what I do on this channel. This is a response channel for the most part, okay? And now the butt hurt. Now, either you can believe that Joe or As Above, As Below, you know, the Canadian and the South African, you can believe that they're as stupid as they're pretending to come across. Maybe they are they that stupid? Sure. Okay, so either they're stupid or they're just hateful. I made a video about cyberbullying and harassment and trolling and who these people tend to be. And it's not pretty. And they do have psychopathic natures. And just think about it when these people have, you know, think about the people who have these accounts at the ready, month old, week old, days old, day old, 2 months old. They're making these channels to troll, to be hateful, to try and bring people down. They can't just say clearly what they think face to face. And that's what I'm doing. Okay, so it's disgusting. Look, I try to, I pretend to have a thick skin about it. I think you really have to. You have to just move forward as if you've got a thick skin and not have it affect, right? But of course it has an effect. They want it to have an effect. Okay, just analyze what's going on. Analyze what you're seeing and hearing. Analyze, that's what they've got, right? To come in and say 726, 726, to highlight something. This is petty and stupid. But that's who you're dealing with. Or to come in and say, you've got the alcoholic shakes. I mean, this is just how I am. I act like this. I move a lot. I'm in a lot of pain all the time. These are, the low blows. This is all they're up to, because they're not saying anything else constructive. They're not just giving an opinion and telling someone why. They're picking on something that actually doesn't exist and actually, means the opposite. You'd think they'd be really interested in Flora fire, because it's yet another investigation that is going nowhere in Carroll County, and they should be interested in the people that are surrounding it. The people that were neighbours and responders at Flora fire are names and voices and searches involved in Libby and Abby's case. You'd think it would interest them. Instead, they are accusing me of making a racial slur, which I didn't make. I'm disgusted by it, and I'm wondering if it is tied into the death of Kiana, Kiara, Keone, and Kiralee. And I can't remember their last names. I'm so sorry. Davis. They all have a different last name. It's very difficult to remember. But what do you think? Why would it take so long for an engine to get to site? Where was Josh Dissinger? Was he setting the fire and then going back to the firehouse? Why would it take so long to get a block and a half? Is this just a mistake because Carroll County were trying to save money on the 911 emergency service and they're outsourcing it? So they're paying, $50,000 a year to another service to look after their area. Was there some mix up like that, right? Trying to get the call through. We don't know, because even a lawsuit didn't get these calls released. So we don't know. We don't know why the slow response. But doesn't it make you wonder when Adam Randall stands up and says that in the fire that killed 4 little girls, it's not considered suspicious, and he just did that off his own bat without the support of anybody else, and before testing was in from the laboratory. Okay, accelerant was found, and not downstairs, upstairs in the flat. So this is a duplex, it's a timber home, an old rundown home. Stunningly, interestingly, doesn't matter, I don't know, the tenant had just moved out from downstairs. Galen Rose, the mother, is having issues with the landlord. She's worried about the maintenance of the home and the standard, the wiring, etc., the smoke detectors. Now, I feel that a mother who is concerned should at least just get the damn smoke detector. But anywho, we've got the fire chief saying, hey, it's nothing to see here, just a terrible accident. It comes back that it's arson. But people realize that sometimes when they put things out first, they think that that's going to be the loudest voice. That's what people are going to remember, that they will go away and believe, those girls, they died in a fire, it was just terrible circumstances. And and Galen Rose was suing the landlord and suing the appliance company. Maybe those lawsuits were started before the accelerant testing came back. I'm not sure. But she's probably looking for some reparation because she's lost everything. How do you go from mother to simply woman? You're always just mother that no longer has that purpose. And you're forever mother, but now you're mother of ghosts. You're mother of what you would remember. She's trying to remember her girls as the happy, loved, fun children that they were, but she must only ever be able to picture them up in the room, huddled together. So, and so, you know, does that interest you? I know it's coming from someone that you might not trust. This is, you know, it's from Anthony Greeno, but, you know, Robert Ives did agree, you know, he was going to meet with him. It's true, Anthony did have a press release organised, and then he's thrown in the slammer, and it took the North American Association for the advancements of, you know, African American peoples in the country. It took this woman running that branch of the NAACP in Carroll County to help get Anthony out. Okay, so she believed him, and maybe there's some other things that she knows. So anyway, this was a longer rant than I thought, and now I'm running late. I have to go to work. It's Easter. I might upload a couple of little doggy videos. Carnivore dog, he had fish yesterday on Good Friday, and I filmed giving him his, you know, his Icelandic cod skin. And he's got a little Easter treat to have on Sunday. It's extraordinarily cute. So maybe I'll give that to him and film that for a little video short. Take care, humanimals. I don't want to disappoint anybody. That's never my goal. I just say it how I see it, and I choose not to censor. I choose not to censor my words. I know some people do, using, you know, CSAM, SACP, you know, RSO, all of this. And perhaps I should have said and been very clear and reiterated that. But I rate the intelligence of humanimals highly, you know. There's just no accounting for trolls, okay? And when you do speak up against people, you know, I invite it in, I guess. It's just extremely telling to me how people choose to take their revenge, if you will. I think it's rather pathetic. It's exhausting, it's stressful, but there you go. I kind of put myself out there for it, don't I? So I've, you know, I kind of got to take it on the chin, and that's that. I'm not sure, you know, I'm not sure how long Carter's got. Has he got 2 more years maybe in office? He really needs to end his career making arrests. I mean, the POI, it's awkward. It could be a Randall. It could be Dissinger. It could be Mother. This is terrible. It could be anyone to do with the landlord. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the tenant below moving out in the recent, in a time period close to the Flora fire, November 2016. Tell me what you think about that. Tell me if you think there's any relationship between the KKK trying to create a resurgence of their organization in Indiana in 2016, and then 4 girls who are part of a 0.2% population of African Americans in Carroll County. It's their house that goes up. It's their house that goes up. And you've got a dynasty family of the Randalls. There's a Michael Randall as well, you know, who are placed to feel like maybe they could control what happens to do with a fire the putting out of the fire, the investigation of a fire, the outcome of a fire? Does this not inflame your concern and your curiosity? Because it does me. See you later.